the government see sustainability by these three. And the strategy they want to enhance that you don't see. We see it from the top people. In order to speak about the word strategy, what does it mean? What does it mean? Plan, yes. But also, we have to look about the issue from top. In order to be an effective leader in any type of business, you need to look at the top and find the niche and find the problem. So, sustainable development, look at the picture. Does the government want you to live this life or that life?
Right.
Why?
More green.
Because it's more green, more peaceful, right?
More green.
The issue is, there are some challenges now we are facing that they've never been seen before. And new problems has just coming on the ground. Also, demographic challenges. What do we have? Strong population. The growth is increasing, cost is increasing, the cost of producing materials are increasing. Also, resource challenges, the increase of usages and the low of the renewable resources. You know, we are eating up our planet more than we are giving it. True, right? Raw materials. You can see there are also some new raw materials that are coming and trying to substitute the old ones, which becomes better. What about this? The last one. Energy. This is the biggest problem. And it's increasing on a yearly basis. Food also comes into it. Okay. Like I told you, most of the speakers, they talk about. Also, the issue is environmental challenges. What are they? Higher level of environmental impact of human activities. 6 years ago, I just attended one of the sustainable course, and one French lady asked that question. What do you do with food after you do the, what do you call it, the invitation of the people? A very smart and a very tricky question. I told her, I know what you are aiming at, but we have to fix our behavior. And I close the subject. Yes, it is our behavior as human, and either fixing the environment or making it more risky. Okay. Also, the capacity of this to sustain what? Its population. The more the population increases, the more what? The existing things that we are taking under it. Can we really see the problem coming? How? This is the question. How we can see it? Like we said, rates of use of the renewable resources should not exceed the rates. It is an equation. One plus one gives more. The less, or the more that the thing that you produce, which is renewable, is going to save our earth in the long run. But still, how do we think it in a strategic way? Sustainable society with the 3 E's. The government looks from the top now. Economy, ecology and environment, and equity, social. What are they? We know them, but exactly what are they? Those are. Like I said, I'm not going to reinvent the wheel. the previous speakers said more than enough. So the risk comes basically on the government views on those three. Okay? Still, this is not my major presentation or slide I'm going to talk about. This one. If you want to take pictures, take this. Let me explain. In order to be the best in the market, the best sustainable company at the market, government or a private sector, we have to understand two things that comes in the line. Competitive focusing. I know there are the private companies here, they are competing with each other with their products just to keep us safe, right? Right. The second thing is competitive advantage. The nature of the product they give, right? Now, let's try to measure the scale. Which strategy you are in, let's ask ourselves. Now, in order as a company or a government sector, want to reach to excellence at the, okay, let me go for the first strategy. Wants to reach to the first strategy is minimum cost. This is the first thing that click. Sustainability, right? That means lowering the cost, right? Okay, so the first thing. The second thing we must do as the private sectors and the government sector, we have to fix our processes also. We have to look into it, make it more quality and more sustainable in order to reach the first strategy. Did you understand the chart, how we read? Clear? Now, second strategy, I'm going to adapt the excellence methodology and the organizational processes on the lower level. We know that in order to enhance excellence, it is a little bit costly, but it makes me as a leadership of past compliance still at the lower level. Although I'm leading. Clear? Now, I know most of you now try to just define themselves from where I am now. The third strategy is the best product and services. I know some of you give a very smart product and services that they do have. And they have the best, what? The best excellence. They spend a lot of money just to produce their products. Right? It is costly sometimes. And sometimes you sell lower than the thing that you produce, right? It is very true. And there is a cost on them. Now, the fourth strategy is a high minimum cost with a good product and services with a lower cost. That is it, a leadership and environment cost. And that is, we are trying to reach it. In order to adapt a strategy, I have to know the methodology first. Don't go on just doing business, working like this. Put a methodology only first, and then you have to work on which strategy you want to adapt. Clear? Understand? Simple, huh? Second slide. I want to define as a company or a government sector where I am from the market. Right? Investors. Investor profits. Flus. Right? We all want that, right? Also, public benefit. Some people, they want to invest, but they don't care about the public benefit, right? Now, as we can see, some of the companies comes to this scale. For non-sustainable businesses, they will stay as close to that line. اللي بيه وما يحاسب. Some of the factories, they do sell the products, they don't care about the environment. Whatever the practices that they do, they are here. Now, the best companies which they are trying to reach is the sustainable businesses, which is still facing challenges in the market. How many new companies, I would like to ask, which is sustainable to the environment, they are entering? 6 on yearly basis? 10? How much? How many numbers? The more that we have, the best thing. But we cannot go to the best thing. And most of the companies, they are here now. We are trying to get in between. Right? Is the scope of winning in both sides for sustainable strategy. Now, just in your mind, if you can just define yourself where you are from here. Here, up and down, or still seven? The strategy people, also they are very smart. In order to get the best of the best, they slice it at the middle. Let's skip. Now, if you want to define yourself at that area, so then they call it here Area H, non-competitive strategies and the competitive strategies. Some people that say that the best thing is to be at least near that area. You have to do a lot of studies in order to know yourself if you are here or here. Because I know most of the companies, whatever type of product that they do, they are here. And that is the risk. See now how the government look at things? The government who also adapt new businesses, they do see you from where, which scale on a yearly basis you are. Okay? Clear? Now, those are the resources have been taken from the sustainable strategy. When can green method be rewarding? It's a book. It's a nice book. I've read it 6 years back. Very nice. This is scary. This is one of the old studies, have been done since a long time. In the year of 2000 and 2030. Pick whatever curve you have. This is the population. The oil production, natural resources, and here is the risk. People who work at the sustainable investment, they know that, really true. Natural resources, definitely in 2030, it's going to be at the lower of the scale. Food, what will happen to it? Also, it will follow it. That's why when that guy put, I think you put, the earth, it's burning, this is what I'm talking about. What about us? People, Now, see? The surviving, Life expectancy. Very dangerous if we don't look up, if we don't look after our products. We're going to end in a very bad scenario. Okay? Very fast. This is the last slide. I like to keep it simple. I can put a lot of complicated drawing, but I like to make it simple always. Like I promised you, 4 slides. This is the 4th one. In order to the government to reach to you and you and you, they must put what? No. They will do also the awareness, it is true, but it's going to take time. But the first thing, we have to set the regulations, we have to sit with the people, we have to sit with the investor, with the people, with the other government entities who work with the sustainable methods. Now, we've got inputs to it, right? Resources we need. And there are outputs after implementing the regulations. Okay? Now, who is participating in this. Number one pollution effect is the transport. We have to fix this. We have to fix it. Not 100%, but we have to keep trying. Number two is what? What number two is? Electricity. I'm not meaning Siwa only, no. All of the electricity companies and their what? And the people who support them and work for them. The other private companies who help their products also. They are into it. The third organization is economy, whatever approves the licensing inside U.A.E. or whatever place. They have to also put regulations on sustainable environment on the companies who practices, and especially factories, right? What other type of business is joining that? Furniture, painting, you name it. Then it will affect what? The environment. Whatever we do, it's going to affect that. And then income will come. New ideas, brilliant ideas will come if we adapt it in the real way. True? There was, I think, 5 years back, we thought about an idea that we can sign a contract with a gas company and try to put the agreement with the transport and try to give them at least 3 years to change all of their vehicles to use gas. Better than using oil. Imagine that. Imagine the cooperation of those two. It's going to reduce the emission in a very beautiful way. So, yes. The last thing is we want to make the world a better place. Water, energy, land, livability, transportation. In order to think strategy, always look from the top. Best strategic people gives us very good results. Thank you.